Beauty has a karma. If you are someone that was born physically very attractive, especially women, there is so much to unpack pertaining to the theme that these individuals go through. It's not just this girl is born beautiful and catches the eye of everyone. Because if that is the case, there's a balance of a curse that follows that beauty. And if you don't have parents who are conscious of what's going on, especially at an energetic level, then I call it you polishing that which doesn't need to be polished because it's already polished, it's beautiful. But if a mother raises a daughter to emphasize her beauty, or the circumstances neglect the child outside of their beauty, and so they then become dependent on needing to polish their beauty to make up for emotional things that wasn't given by a father, wasn't given by a mother. And if the mother, for example, is also gone through the same thing, she was a beautiful child and then boom, has a beautiful child, but she wasn't taught any better, then there's a perpetual curse that follows beauty, attractiveness. It's not all happy-go-lucky. If you are born a very attractive individual, there is an energetic curse or energetic karma. Let's move the word curse away. Curse is very harsh, but karma is a better word, because karma means that there's a responsibility with this that you have. It's the exact same responsibility that someone who has a gift, someone who sees beyond the veil, it's the same energy, just in the form of now you are an attractive person, you've been attractive all your life, and you grew up and you've been told as a little girl, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, how beautiful you are, how beautiful you are, how beautiful you are. You hear it from family, you hear it from outsiders, strangers. You just beautiful, beautiful. That's all you hear. Trust me, a lot of attractive people. It's a bit weird to agree with this because then it's like you're vain, but you know what I'm talking about. You've been hearing this. By the time you hit 13, you're rolling your eyes. 16, you're rolling your eyes. Why? Because you've been hearing, I'm beautiful. Humans get bored with the same thing over and over, even if you are validating something you know. They the ones that are new to the fact that you are what you are, but you've been validated in this area. But there's a responsibility with this gift of attraction, because the evil eye is your arch nemesis. And if you weren't taught by a father, by a mother, that listen here, my child, you're gonna catch the eye of many. But the person behind the eye that perceives you, you have to be subtle in your energy to pick that up. You mustn't fall for the flattery, because that's how the devil kind of seduces many. Also, you were supposed to be taught from your mother and father to not polish that which has been polished by God and Mother Nature already. But unfortunately, I've seen it in my life personally. Someone, young girl, super attractive by the age of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They have a mother who says, prim and proper, this is how you must look, this is how you must act, this is how you must, dress. And there's this polished nature to nearly emphasize the fact that they are beautiful, to run in the dirt, to play in the dirt, to play with the animals, to have your hair crazy. No, that human nature, that is absolutely neglected. And so certain mothers would emphasize with their daughters to polish that which has already been polished, which already starts then building a context with karma. Because if you fall into that trap of doing extra where there's already enough, then you setting up the consequences for the karma, which is where the evil eye comes into place. He who is beautiful, has that attraction, has that gift, will not worry about the quality of the eye perceiving them. They will just be happy that an eye is perceiving them, and so they will become codependent on that. When they become codependent on the validation consistently, doesn't matter from who, you see the strangest thing. The one who carries all this attraction and beauty goes emotionally and mentally to the opposite of what sits in their physical nature. They go to the darkest, weirdest, ugliest places, emotionally, psychologically. And you will not assume that this is where they are in their lives, this is what they're going through. And you will also be sometimes shocked. You will see the most attractive person with someone who has a black heart. The most attractive, beautiful woman with someone who is literally dirty. Why? Not just dirty physically, but just they the opposite of what this person represents to the eye. You know why you see that? In an emotion, in a person, in the practices of what they do, it's because there was not a balance taught to the child who was born with this gift. So there's an extreme of beauty and perfection and polished nature that they have. They know that. But he who has that experience wants to be curious about the other. We are polarity, remember? So they will start going into the places where you don't expect them to go into. Being curious about people and places that are dark, dirty, the opposite of what they carry in the physical. They'll be around people who have dark, dirty, ill intention, and they will call that normal. They will make that normal because they're making up for that which they've never experienced. So it's like a suburb child that has just been with the suburbs, and then finally they go to the hood and they realize there's a sense of community in the hood, or there's a whole life there that has a thrill and adrenaline and danger, and they want that. Why? Because they've never been exposed to it. But if you've been deprived of it so much, you don't know enough. So you go extreme in those areas. You go too far in those areas. And again, if a mother and a father never regulated that enough area with, as a child, go play in the dirt. As a child, go play with the animals. As a child, go play with the other kids. Just no validation of polish, beauty. Just be a child in the balance of climbing trees and being dirty and running bare feet and no prim and proper nature. When that is given, then there's a balance so that the adult version of the beauty is not polished. And like I said, you will know balance, because you will come in contact with the evil eye. But if you're familiar with the evil eye, you know how to navigate. You know how to move through the temptation of an eye that is evil. And you won't be codependent on an eye seeing you. You'll be very okay with not being validated. But if that was not given, you see the obsessive nature with needing to consistently be seen, and the person won't care by who. It is very sad also, outside of that, most of these attractive young women, like they're born with the gift of attraction, comes with a massive karma in how they physically are abused by those who they trust. A young girl who's attractive knows the eye of lust it's an energy. They can feel that this man is not looking at me because I'm just beautiful. There's an action that is behind this eye that's perceiving me. And so they're 6 years old and they're feeling this from a 40-year-old. They're 11 years old and they're feeling this from a 65-year-old. 13 years old, innocent, 16 years old, innocent baby. But how they have the gift of beauty. And there's that lustful energy that they spot in people, men. Primitive, instinctual, they just want what they want. And like I said, don't think that it's outside of the house. Don't make the assumption that, oh, as soon as she leaves for the mall, the pastors at church is looking at her like that. The cousins, the uncles is looking at her like that. Some cases, it's the mother's boyfriend, husband, father, and they look at this child like that. Why? Because they have the gift of something that makes, if someone is not a strong human being and they're weak and they lean towards that primal nature in their human experience, you are their weakness. And again, if there's no father in your life, this area makes it very, very hard for the girl, or if you're a single mother and you have a very attractive woman or girl, daughter, a father needs, because if a man knows that shit, a man knows, gee whiz, that one is attractive, and yeah, you feel that, but you regulate through that. You don't act on it. If you have a sister, you know what that feels like. If you have cousins who are girls, you know what that feels like to be protective. But you know that lustful desire, that primitive desire. And it is so common in my readings where someone is insanely attractive at a young age, and I can see the people in her own family looking at her with that lustful, primitive eye. Never mind going to a club, going to an event, going to a wedding. She feels that. It sits with her in her auric field. It's like dirt. She knows. She senses it. Some, it's just an experience of the eye. To others, the poor girl has literally been abused. And you can spot it in their eyes. You can see that you were hurt because of your gift. The evil eye saw you. You had no protection in a father, no protection in a mother. Some mothers even compete with the daughter, which to me again shows that as humans, we have a long way to go. That's one part of my, my gift where the person doesn't even have to say it, and I can say, your mom competed with you. I can see it. There's some circumstances where the mother has a boyfriend, and then the boyfriend sees the daughter, flippant daughter is like 12 years old. Unfortunate event happens, and then the daughter goes to the mother, says, this is what happened to me. Instead, the mother acts like, no, like it's a competition, and doesn't do anything about protecting the daughter. No, rather gets aggro. Then the daughter wants to then flip and leave the house and say, screw that shit. I just flip and told you this man hurt me, and you think it's a competition. What the When you are born with attraction that is pure to the eye, there is a responsibility, but there's a karma with it. There's a flippin' karma with it. Just like someone who has a spiritual gift And everyone just wants to book a reading. I just want to talk to this person. This want to talk to the shaman. I want a reading. Please, can we talk again next week? Can we talk again next week? Can we talk again next week? I just want, you sow this. It's the same. And if you don't know your balance, if you don't know what you have, if no one kind of looked after the responsibility of your gift, you either become codependent on that need or you get used in a very aggressive way, like assault, abused, or it fades. So at some point you were all this beautiful and then depression kicks in. Mental illness takes over, eating takes over, and you go down a spiral. There's a karma you must kind of look after. And if you know as a parent you have this child who's going to catch the eye of many, you don't put them in modeling. You don't put them in TV. You don't put them on social media. You don't. On social media, I can show you how many of these beautiful women are in that karma. They there. You guys have seen them. They there. Mental health issues is never far away from these individuals. A vice is never far away from these individuals. To feel complete and human outside of their gift is never far away from these humans. They go through shit behind the beauty, but it's like someone who has money. You will assume, you have money, everything is fine. It's the same assumption where someone is a celebrity or someone is rich and you don't worry about that family or those people. You assume you've got the gift. No, you're fine in life. There's nothing you have to worry about. Lo and behold, you don't know what energetic shit they have to go through. I haven't even touched on the fact that there's the disgusting primal eye that looks in lust at young girls, whether it's a father, an uncle, a pastor, a brother, a cousin that literally abuses these girls. But then from the feminine energy, there's women who will look with a resentful eye, a jealous eye, again, evil eye. That time you didn't ask to be beautiful. You didn't plan the attraction. But the eye you are looked with, you've done nothing. Judgment. Hit you with assumption. It's the same thing like having a gift. You're able to see beyond the veil. You're able to talk to dead people. And then someone says, you're a witch. And you're like, You have a gift. You are helping people, transforming their lives, helping them connect to dead people, their family members. You are a curse. You are black magic. And you're like, but what? I'm such a nice person. What do you mean? It's the same thing attractive individuals go through. But again, it's a gift. It's people who are just blatantly, they're born this way. They didn't ask for it. The way they are compositioned, it's like a rose. The way they are compositioned, it's like looking at a beautiful mountain range. It's like looking at a bird that is like, wow. Humans are born like that. Wow. But there is an evil eye that looks at it and says, sis, they probably are this. They probably are that. That one thinks so much of themselves. That time they've done nothing. So if you are one of these individuals, you don't have to comment and with the fear of, for example, being seen as vain. But the truth is the truth is the truth. Your experience in life has validated this truth. You've heard the compliments all your life. Again, since you were a kid. Hear me very clearly as someone who works as a gifted individual. In my readings, I work with a lot of people like you. And you know why it's very common? Because, as I said, you were born with a gift. There's a gift you were given. But wherever there's a gift, there's responsibility. Your mother and father should have taught you this. Your father should have taught you about the primitive ways. And then they should have also been in your history growing up. You should have went to an environment where they take you to the farm. You play with other kids. No one worries about how pretty you get dirty. You're just around regular folk. There's no polishing of your beauty. They don't even speak of it. Your humanity is what needs to be looked after. Very basic. It's like a shaman that goes to the woods and does a 40-day fast. No TV, no phone, no sugar, no coffee. You go raw, fast, connect only to nature, animals, meditation. So the same regulation is what is needed when you carry the responsibility of this gift of beauty. If you don't do that, like someone who is gifted and doesn't do anything about it, and they're trying to live a normal life, you're going to suffer. And the karma of that evil eye is going to hold you by the balls. Some of you have already suffered through the abuse, through the mental neglect, the emotional neglect. You trying to just be a flippin' human, but this outside experience of what is catching everyone's eye is ruining your life. Maybe you were a model, you were actress, whatever you are, you're already in the validation of this thing, but it's extra polish, and you're not supposed to polish something that naturally doesn't need polishing. I would never advise someone who is that beautiful to go into modeling. That's a sickness. To go into acting, that's a sickness. You're making other people rich, if anything. You got to be so subtle about how you, just like you teach someone with a gift, you say you're subtle. Just because you're gifted doesn't mean you must tell everyone that you're gifted. You have to be taught how to regulate and come back to your humanity. People must talk to you and you must teach people. And you must know that balance of I'm just a human, and you need to feed that version, not the beauty. So I know, for example, I'm gifted, but after any reading, I have to come back down to earth. After any connection to whatever gift I have to come back down to earth. I must know how to regulate and ground myself outside of the body's experience. So it's the same thing with you who walks with a gift, or else, if you don't, you sit with a karma that no one is going to understand. The psychologist is not going to help you. They're going to put you on medication and medication. If the family didn't look after you before you hit 21 to understand everything I've just said, if the father wasn't there to give you this awareness, if the family don't even know that this is your experience, then you mustn't be too harsh with why you are where you are because of beauty, in either experiencing the emotional, the psychological, or the extremes of I need to polish what I have. I see a lot of you on this platform, and I can see how in your eyes you can't hide shit. I see the soul going through a tough time. There's a responsibility. Don't fall into the victimhood of the evil eye. It's going to take you to those dark, ugly places. You're going to go to the ugliest energetic places in people and environments because it's just new and different, something that you weren't exposed to, like a child who was never given sugar, and then you suddenly give them sugar and they go mad and they overdose on it. That's what's going to happen to you, and with the ugly side of life. And that's why I say you will be so obsessed with polishing that you don't care about the quality of the eye that perceives you, the quality of the human that perceives you. So even if it's a lustful 84-year-old man, you will still go show. And I'll sit and say, poor child. Poor child, you weren't taught, and now you're in the karma of your gift. And an evil eye transmutes energetically, unconsciously, especially on social media, to you, and you won't know why these things are happening to you, why there's no balance in the life, why there's the main thing, why you feel so empty and nothing you do in the flesh can fulfill it. That emptiness will stay with you, my child, unless you learn like those who are gifted. There's a responsibility, a lifestyle, a grounding that needs to be given and taught in regulating the gift you are given. It's like if there is a beautiful space in nature, you can't expose that place to so many people, or else the Westerners come, they colonize it, and then they effectively they drain the beauty of that place that is natural. They drain it out for money, capitalism, like what they're doing with Peru. Everybody heard about ayahuasca. Now all these people from Mountain of Caucasus, they've literally ruined that space. Why? Because now everyone goes there and everyone wants ayahuasca and everyone is flooding there, and it's just for money. There's no subtlety with the beauty of that environment in South America anymore. So therefore, not everyone is supposed to see you. But if you had a mother and a father that grew up and polished you and put you in modeling and put you in acting and put you in the places where it's extra polish, and we're just focusing on your beauty, I have empathy for what you are going to feel as a human being growing up. I already know your story. You've succumbed to the evil eye unconsciously. And again, social media will show you. Like a beautiful natural space that is not tainted, as soon as that evil eye sees you, they start putting up accommodation, start charging people, and there's now everybody's coming to this place. And what once was a beautiful, subtle environment, ruined. Because too many people knew about a place. Too many eyes saw this place. Something that is polished already, beautiful already naturally, does not need to be polished.